Prepare to be amazed as we delve into the extraordinary world of the giant individuals throughout history, from towering figures of the past to the incredible heights of modern-day giants. Join us on an unforgettable journey into the realm of the extraordinary. Number 20. Juan Pedro Franco. Let's talk about Juan Pedro Franco. He's a man with a special story. In 2016, Guinness World Records named him the heaviest person alive. He weighed a massive 92 stone, which is like having 10 average-sized men all together in weight. That's not healthy at all. Because of his weight, he couldn't move much and needed a lot of help just to get out of bed. His life was in danger, but thanks to some medical procedures, he managed to lose more than half of his weight. He got even slimmer after that. It's important he got help because no one should feel trapped in their own body like that. Number 19. John Rogan. John Rogan was a very tall African-American man. He was one of the tallest people ever, standing at 267 centimeters tall. He was born in the 1800s and was one of 12 children. But he was the only one who grew so big. It was just luck, or maybe bad luck. Being so tall wasn't easy for John. People only saw him as a spectacle at carnivals or sideshows. He couldn't get proper medical help because of the old ways of treating illnesses. This left him with stiff joints, so he couldn't stand or walk properly. Sadly, John didn't live long. He died at 38 because of his height. This shows that being the biggest or tallest isn't always good. Number 18. John Brewer Minoch. John Brewer Minoch was the heaviest man ever. He weighed 635 kilograms, which is super heavy. When you see his pictures, you can't believe someone could be that big. He tried to lose weight by dieting, but it made him really sick. Firefighters had to help him get to the hospital because he was so big. Even though he lost some weight, he was still really heavy when he died, 363 kilograms. He was so big that it took 2 graves to bury him. People aren't sure why he got so big. Some say it was genetics, others think it was because he retained a lot of water, but nobody knows for sure. Number 17. Massey Curran. Meet Missy Curran, a remarkable lady who's breaking stereotypes. People always thought she'd be really tall, even when she was young. And guess what? They were right. She's about 2 meters tall, which is not typical for women. But here's the kicker. Her legs are super long, making up 60% of her height. She even holds the world record for the longest legs as a teenager and a woman. Imagine, her legs are almost as long as an average woman in the United States. But being different has its challenges. She faced bullying for her height and struggles with everyday things like finding clothes that fit or fitting into cars and plane seats. Despite all this, she's determined to inspire others who are also different, especially tall girls like her. That's pretty cool, right? Number 16. Rumisa Jelji. Rumisa Jelji is the tallest woman in the world. She's famous for being really tall, but there's more to her than just height. She's not just tall, she's also a star, an activist, and a public speaker. She holds 5 Guinness World Record titles. We recently met another tall person, Missy Curran, but Rumisa is even taller. She's over 215 centimeters tall. But there's a sad part to her story. Rumisa has Weaver syndrome, which makes her unusually tall and gives her a big head. It can also affect how she thinks. Weaver syndrome is very rare. Rumisa is actually the first person in Turkey to be recorded having it. Despite her challenges, she's living her life as best she can. She's an advocate for her disease and tries to live her life in a positive way. That's real strength. Number 15. Nikolai Valuev. Nikolai Valuev was a famous person in Russia. He was really big, standing at 2.13 meters tall and weighing 148 kilograms. He was a professional boxer, known for being a giant in the ring. He holds records for being the tallest and heaviest boxing champion ever. He won the WBA Heavyweight Boxing Championship twice and had a great record of 50 wins in 53 fights, with 34 of those wins by knockout. Surprisingly, he wasn't the best at boxing skills, and he lost 2 fights while being the champion. This shows that size doesn't always guarantee victory in boxing. After retiring, he had joint problems. Still, he's remembered as a significant figure in boxing. Standing against him in the ring would be intimidating, considering his size and skills, unless you enjoy the idea of fighting a giant, but I wouldn't blame you for avoiding it. Number 14. Sajid Garibi. Meet Sajid Garibi, also known as the Iranian Hulk. He became famous on Instagram for sharing pictures of his super strong body. Despite being under 2 meters tall, he weighed a whopping 174 kilograms, which means he had a lot of weight packed into his body, especially in his upper half. He was a huge weightlifter and even tried his hand at mixed martial arts. Some folks in the UFC even dared to challenge him. Can you imagine facing off against this giant, throwing punches and kicks that you can't really stop? But despite his massive size and strength, Sajid didn't do so well in combat sports. He got knocked out in a boxing match in the very first round. This shows us that just being big and strong doesn't automatically make you unbeatable. Still, lots of people admire his muscular physique. That's the truth of it all. Number 13. Elisane Silva. Elisane Silva was a very tall woman from Brazil. She was 2.07 meters tall, making her Brazil's tallest woman, but her height wasn't natural. When she was just 10 years old, she was already 1.75 meters tall, which is very tall for a child. Doctors found out she had a tumor that made her grow so much. This tumor caused her a lot of pain all over her body. Even though she faced bullying in school because of her height, Elisane turned things around. She became a model and inspired other tall women to embrace their height. She showed them that being tall could lead to good things. Number 12. Olivier Richters. Olivier Richters is a big actor from the Netherlands. People call him the Dutch giant because he's really tall, about 2.18 meters, and he weighs 153 kilograms. He's strong and big, which many people like. He's not afraid to work hard and learn new things to look good on camera. That's why he's been in commercials, TV shows, movies, and more. Some people really want him in their productions because of his drive. Here's something cool. Remember the movie Black Widow from Marvel? There's a scene in a prison where a guy breaks another guy's arm during arm wrestling. That big guy was Olivier Richters. He was supposed to be like a character called Ursa, but we might not see him in Marvel movies again, so it's cool we got to see him in that one. Number 11. Ulambeiran Bayambajaf. Ulambeiran Bayambajaf is a big guy. He's not tall, but he's really wide. He's a sumo wrestler from Mongolia, not Japan. He's won the Sumo World Championships twice and has won many matches all over the world. He's so popular that he's been in movies and TV shows. He's really big and famous. Number 10. Yo Defan. Yo Defan was a very tall woman from China. She was 259 centimeters tall and weighed 157 kilograms. She had a tumor on her pituitary gland, which made her grow very tall from a young age. People wanted her to be a sports star to bring attention to China, but she wasn't strong enough because of her health problems. Her family couldn't afford surgery to remove the tumor until later in her life. Sadly, she passed away at the age of 40, but it's not clear what caused her death because China doesn't share all the information. Number 9. Sun Mingming. Sun Mingming was really tall, 261 centimeters. He was the tallest basketball player in the world, but he didn't have an easy path to success. He grew up in a poor part of China where he couldn't play basketball until he was 15. His family couldn't take him to a place to play. Still, he didn't give up on his dreams. He moved to the United States to try to join the NBA, but things didn't go as planned. He lacked the basic skills needed to succeed in basketball. He was tall, but that was pretty much it. He wasn't very strong, got tired easily, and didn't have the skills like other tall players such as Yao Ming. He played in semi-pro leagues and even appeared in movies like Rush Hour 3. People often wonder what could have been if he'd have started playing basketball earlier and received proper training, but we'll never know for sure. Number 8. Brahim Takula. Brahim is very tall. When he was young, he grew a whole meter in just 1 year. Most kids grow much less than that. Doctors found out he had a condition making him so tall. After an operation, he got back to a normal height, but still very tall. He became the second tallest man in the world. Being so tall was hard. He needed huge size 58 shoes. He even had bigger feet than Sultan Qasim. He worked at a theme park where people paid to take pictures with him. That's how he made a living. Number 7. Sultan Qasim. Meet Sultan Qasim. He's really tall, the tallest living man, actually. The Guinness Book of World Records confirms it, and they're serious about their records. Sultan is from Turkey, and his life has been interesting because of his height. He's so tall that he couldn't finish school. It's tough to sit behind someone almost 8 feet tall. He says being tall lets him see far and helps him do chores at home, like changing light bulbs. But there are downsides too. Finding clothes or shoes that fit is hard when your legs are over 4 feet long and your arms are almost 3 feet long. Even though he's famous for being tall, it hasn't made him instantly happy or famous. Being tall can actually bring a lot of problems, which we sometimes forget. Number 6. Jeff Dabe. Meet Jeff Dabe. He's known for having really big hands and arms. When you see him from the front, he looks normal. But when he raises his arms, you notice something strange. His hands and arms are much bigger than usual. Some people think he has a medical condition, but doctors can't find anything wrong with him. Despite his unique body, Jeff enjoys arm wrestling and probably doesn't lose very often. Number 5. Ho Van Trung. Ho Van Trung was a man from Vietnam. He became the 6th tallest man in the world. He grew really tall very fast. He was 27.2 centimeters tall at his tallest. But he had a disease that made him keep growing even though his body couldn't handle it. He died when he was only 34 years old. It's sad that he didn't get to enjoy life more. Number 4. Zhang Junke. Meet Zhang Junke. He's really tall, like super tall, at 2.42 meters. He's 59 years old and still going strong. Not much is known about him, but he's friends with other tall people in China. He even visited Yo Defin when she was in the hospital, and it made her really happy. It's nice to see these giants supporting each other because being tall can be tough sometimes. Number 3. Ronnie Coleman. Meet Ronnie Coleman. He's a really big guy, not just in size but in fame too. He's a famous bodybuilder who won the Mr. Olympia title 8 times in a row. People think he's one of the best bodybuilders ever, maybe even better than Arnold Schwarzenegger. He didn't just win Mr. Olympia, he won lots of other titles too. People loved his muscles, they were huge and powerful. He was really strong too, maybe the strongest bodybuilder ever. He looked up to another bodybuilder named Lee Haney, who also won 8 Mr. Olympia titles. Coleman made videos to teach people how to train like him even after he stopped competing. If you want to be as big and strong as Ronnie Coleman, you'd be doing something really impressive. Number 2. Yao Ming. Let's talk about Yao Ming. He's a big deal in Chinese basketball. He's not the tallest player ever, but he's the tallest from China to make it to the NBA. He even made it to the NBA Hall of Fame. That's a huge deal. Yao Ming played for the Houston Rockets for 8 seasons. He was really good, one of the best centers in the game. Even Shaq, who's one of the greatest, respected him. But Yao had some bad luck with injuries, especially to his feet. Eventually, he had to retire because of them. But even after retiring, Yao Ming is still a big name. He's become an ambassador for basketball. People remember him not just for his skill, but also for his personality. He's friendly and easy to talk to. So, even though he's not playing anymore, Yao Ming will always be remembered in basketball history. Number 1. Denis Siplenkov. Denis Siplenkov was an arm wrestler who knew he was the best. He didn't need to brag because he had big arms, hands, and neck, giving him a lot of strength. When he competed, he always won, choosing only the toughest competitions. He stayed undefeated for years, except when he used his weaker arm. He was really impressive. Thank you for joining us on this captivating exploration of the tallest people in history. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Blind Truth for more fascinating content. Until next time, keep reaching for new heights.